everybody. Welcome to Zoey Knows Best, Who, When, Why, Context Matters. I'm your host, Zoey.
Me, Moses.
Today we're going to be talking about a fun topic. Halloween is evil. Not. It seems like, especially among evangelical Protestantism, like more modern Protestants, there's a war on Halloween. Oh, it's evil. Don't let your kids do that. I got a lot of friends that don't let their children dress up and don't let them participate in Halloween. Even if they're doing innocent stuff, dressing up as Disney princesses, Star Wars characters, whatever. The thought comes to mind because it seems like it's more about the day, because it seems like any other day apart from Halloween, it's perfectly okay if you visit Walt Disney World and you let your little girl dress up as Elsa or Cinderella or Belle, etc.
The connection is that day.
That day
is an evil day or pagan ritual day, whatever it is. But the connection there that people have an issue with is that.
So, how can a day be intrinsically evil?
Explain that word. Automatically evil?
Yeah, automatically evil. Because, I mean, it's the same concept of, Adolf Hitler, we would probably all agree, very, very evil man. But was 2-day-old Adolf Hitler an evil man?
No.
God doesn't make things evil. Sin comes in and corrupts. I'll agree with that. Satan was not made evil. Sin corrupted Satan. So we get to that point. How can a day be evil? I mean, any other day, can I dress up as a pumpkin and it's okay? Can I let my children go to Rocky's house and ask him for some Reese's or some Snickers? And there's no problem. It's just the day by itself. There's a pagan holiday, an ancient one called Samhain. And people always say, that's what Halloween is. You're celebrating the Samhain. They try to make that connection. And so the earliest writings we have about that holiday, Samhain, date back to the 9th century in Ireland.
To make the scene here, we're in Ireland. And what's going on in Ireland in the year 800 treasure?
They're having some pagan Celtic holidays, probably doing all sorts of
wicked, weird stuff.
Weird stuff for sure. To explain my thought on Halloween, first I got to start at holiday that we have in the Catholic Church. It's a holy day of obligation called All Saints Day.
What is that day?
All Saints Day is a day that we are venerating those who have gone before us and who are in heaven with Christ, who have finished, as Paul says, finished the race. The ones that have finished the race.
Before you keep going, explain how venerating is not worshiping.
Of course, venerating would be, so I'm a huge Oklahoma Sooner fan, everybody. Boomer Sooner. Baker Mayfield's my favorite player of all time. I love Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
I've got
Baker.
Baker Mayfield football cards, Baker Mayfield jerseys, Baker Mayfield posters, plaques, all sorts of stuff. I don't worship Baker Mayfield. I acknowledge, hey, this guy is an awesome football player. Man, I wish I could play football like that. So in the same way, veneration would be, I'm looking at a saint, like we talked about Athanasius a little bit in our last video, Athanasius versus the world, guys. He wanted to get into a room with a bunch of heretical bishops who didn't even believe Jesus was God. They call it Athanasius versus the world. Young kid, very courageous. He's a deacon. He's not even a bishop at the time. Comes out on top. So we should strive to be like Athanasius. Have the boldness of Athanasius for truth. And so that's veneration. It would be respect, kind of admiration, but not adoration.
So in a way, you're admiring the choices they made, the life they lived, not of their own accord, but for the All Saints Day is admiration of these people's submissiveness to God.
Right. So, I mean, we should all strive to walk in the footsteps of Christ, of course. That's goals for all of us. But there are people that have walked in the footsteps of Christ before us. So it's perfectly okay to look at those people that have walked before us and say, I'm going to walk in their footsteps because they're walking in Christ's footsteps.
So every part of life we do this. It's not just in this. Every part of life in the medical field, they go from the mistakes or the, advances made in medicine. They go to advancements in the 80s and 90s and they go, oh, this was great, but it got better here, it got better here. And it's development, right? So you can grow off of this. You can admire what they've done. You can take away from the good stuff from it and build upon it.
Right.
So All Saints Day is November 1st, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So continue with your thought. All Saints Day is November 1st. It's Halloween Eve. It's the next day is All Saints Day is the Catholic holiday.
All Saints Day was first instituted by Pope Boniface IV in the year 609.
200 years before the Ireland
Halloween.
What was it called?
Samhain. Samhain.
Sam Schmoon, shout out, hashtag. Anyways, So 200 years before this Ireland pagan whatever day Samhain,
Yeah.
we have All Saints Day being practiced.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's a holy day of obligation for all Catholics. We are required on that day to go to Mass, if possible. I mean, of course, barring sickness or some unusual circumstance.
What the Sooners are playing.
I mean, Christ comes before the sinners, much
There
that
we
hurts
go.
to say.
There we go, Ryan. The test and you've passed.
So now we fast forward to the same time Samhain is being practiced.
Okay.
In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III dedicated a chapel in St. Peter's Basilica to All Saints Day. It's actually called the All Saints Day Chapel, right? It's in St. Peter's Basilica. So we've advanced so far. We're building chapels and dedicating it to this 200 years later at the same time their first practice in Samhain in Ireland. It's also at that time that he declared the night before that to be All Hallowed Eve. Hallowed Eve because it's the night before we celebrate all the holy ones. Holy meaning set apart.
Mm-hmm.
People who aren't worldly, they've separated their self, their flesh, their spiritual self from the fleshly world.
Mm-hmm. Which we should all strive to do. Everybody should strive to do that.
Further sanctification is goals.
Yeah. Okay, continue. So whenever they instituted All Hallows Eve, what was the practice and all? Was there a practice or was it just an acknowledgement of the eve?
So the night before All Saints Day is a feast day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they'd be getting in preparation of the celebration of All Saints Day. They'd be, probably preparing food, whatever they did for a celebration. Okay. So we fast forward about another 100 years, another Pope Gregory the Fourth. So the next Pope Gregory, not the next Pope concurrently or linearly. This is when All Saints Day was made a holy day of obligation, and this is also when we start seeing children dressing up the night before.
What year you got that?
All Saints Day.
I didn't. 900.
It'd be in the 800s.
Okay.
So in the 800s, children are dressing up, and they're dressing up as their favorite saint. Like today would be the equivalent of my son dressing up like Baker Mayfield. My son loves football. He loves Baker the same way as me. Back then, these kids might have dressed up as Thomas Aquinas.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, he wasn't there yet. St. Augustine, Athanasius, Jerome.
So where you're going to get pushback right now, I'm going to stop you because you're going to get a little push, and where somebody's going to make the argument is to say kids aren't dressing up as Christian figures these days. Kids aren't dressing up worshiping God.
Well, I acknowledge that.
And even if you're trying to make the comparison and connect the dots to Baker Mayfield, which I get the innocent part of it.
Yeah.
But you can't compare it to say, well, we're dressing up like saints and veneration of a saint because they're setting themselves apart from the world, and then dress like a football player and say that you're setting yourself apart from the world. There's got to be.
I get it.
Apart.
I get it.
Just saying with
no, I appreciate it. So here would be the response to that.
Mm-hmm.
When I start looking at what the writings about Samhain say in the 9th century in Ireland, there's nothing about kids dressing up.
Really?
Nothing.
Okay.
So the dressing up comes from All Saints Day.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, I mean, in theory, just like everything we see today, the United States used to have the blue law. Everything was closed before noon on Sundays, so people could go to church, right? And that's went away. I mean, in theory, shouldn't it be a lot better? Wouldn't it be a lot better if all the kids were dressing up as their favorite religious figures or the disciples or the apostles, anybody? Yes. But we don't live in a perfect world. So
if I dress up as Father Sean, is that going to be frowned upon?
I don't think so. And hey, as a matter of fact, on All Saints Day,
review it.
On All Saints Day, the other church, our sister parish, Immaculate Conception, is having an All Saints Day festival. Come dressed as your favorite saint.
You did announce that.
Yes. So I mean that's where it starts. But there's more to it than that. So we see.
Can I ask a question though before you keep going? So if I want to dress up like a saint, how do I get imagery of, like, if you go back to these old saints?
Well, like for example,
how would you know this saint from this saint?
There would be certain things like St. Thomas More always wore that weird hat and a scarf. And you just would kind of.
I gotcha. I didn't know there was like significant different thing. But go ahead.
So in 1030 A.D., a guy named Abbot Odio of Cluny established the observance of All Souls Day. Now, the reason I say this, these 3 days together are part of the 3-day celebration in the Catholic Church that we call All Hallow Tide. So that's All Hallowed Eve, All Saints Day, and All Souls Day. back to back to back. All Souls Day, we pray for the souls of our departed.
What day is that fall on to?
That is,
The
that's
second,
November 2nd.
November 2nd. Okay.
November 2nd.
So you have All Hallows Eve is October 31st. All Saints Day is November 1st, and then All Souls Day is November 2nd.
And all three of those make All Hallow Tide.
All Hallow Tide. Okay.
Yes.
So the thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, but the defense you're making for Halloween not being a bad, evil holiday is this isn't the Catholic Church piggybacking this holiday to fit in with the world and societal norms to say, oh, let your kids dress up and play games. We can date these holidays. Well, obviously, one's predating Halloween altogether. You know, all Saints Day. That's predating Halloween altogether by a couple hundred years.
The dress up is actually right around the same time.
So this holiday that is practiced, even if we can see abusive forms of the practice today, you know, there are some things in Halloween that's just straight up wrong.
Right, of course.
You know, like I went to I don't know if we're in trouble for this not, but I went to Universal for a thing called Horror Nights a few years ago, and what's that called, Pentagram or something?
Yeah.
And that was like the theme of the evening, was like an evil theme, right? And we didn't know it. We got there. We got tickets late. We walked in. We walked around for like 30, 45 minutes. And I got so freaked out and creeped out, we just got out of there. We took it about 30 minutes, paid all the money, and I couldn't do it. So I seen the abusive part there. But we're not defending that. Is that your case? You're not defending that, are you? Okay.
No, not at all.
You're defending the idea of the coming together, kids dressing up, lighthearted fun.
Well, I would say the two defenses I'm trying to make here. We cannot make any day intrinsically evil. Cannot
Gotcha.
do it. God didn't make anything intrinsically evil. So bad acts and sin done on a day don't make the day evil, because if that's the case, guys, there's 365 days in a year. Every day would be evil. There's some kind of you look at abortion, the number of abortions in the country, there's an abortion that happens every day. Murders, molestations, horrible things. So that doesn't negate it. And then the second argument I would make is, you know, it started out as something pure. We didn't plagiarize paganism. What happens is you have these people coming into the church, probably mixed families, like, for example, say you and your brother Naylor, this is a hypothetical here. Say you've already converted to Christianity. Your kids are practicing All Saints Day, right? They're dressing up as saints. You live in the 800s. Naylor is still a pagan. His son, your nephew, sees your girls dressing up. Hey, Dad, I want to dress up. Well, your nephew might put on a set of deer antlers and dress up as a deer or whatever. So, I mean, you kind of see, I think actually the paganism plagiarized the dressing up from Christianity, not vice versa.
So what you think is
it's the assimilation.
They kind of hijacked the holiday.
Yeah.
And put their belief system into the holiday, and the development has grew into parts of what Halloween is now.
And we see that in every holiday.
Oh, I got a good thing for you, though, on the day thing you're talking about, right? I didn't even know it. This year, me and my wife flew to Florida, and we're in the airport, and we're going to fly to Florida and for vacation, and I just wasn't even paying attention. We're walking the holiday, and look at my wife, and she's so nervous. And we walked around and said, why are you so nervous? She said, you got me flying on 9/11. I said, I didn't even, never think about it. But if something, an evil, horrendous event could make a day bad, what, for in America especially, what could make a day worse than 9/11? That would just be shut the airports down, close them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if one horrible, horrible event could make one day just completely a bad day, no matter what you do on that day, it's just bad, whatever it is. That's don't fly on 11, but we flew on 11.
Guys, short video, but I think I said what I needed to say. Don't let your kids dress up as Satan. Don't let them dress up as a demon. Don't let them dress up as somebody demonically possessed. Let your little girl dress as a princess. Let your little girl dress as a saint or whatever they want to dress as. As long as it's pure and innocent, perfectly okay.
So somebody said some words to me earlier today. We was talking about pagan rituals and these kind of things, and they said, practicing a pagan ritual is practicing a pagan ritual. Asking somebody for candy is asking somebody for candy. You can practice a pagan ritual any day you want. You can ask somebody for candy any day you want. So they're not the same. They can, you can enjoy Halloween and ask somebody for candy and it not be a pagan ritual. So it's a good. It was a good point.
That's all, folks. I guess we'll see you guys next Friday. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks.
Bye, guys.